Hey everyone, welcome to Slater's Wrist Game. Today we're going to do a review, not a review, a comparison of two of my favorite budget divers. But before I get started, I'd like to say thanks to everyone for watching the videos and continuing to like, comment, and subscribe. I do appreciate that, and I do not take that for granted. So thank you, and thank you for watching this video. I hope it is informative and helps you out. But we have two of the most iconic budget dive watches. Both of them are controversial a little bit. We have the Invicta Pro Diver, model number 8926OB, and we have the Seiko SKX, model number 009K2. So today we're going to look at 7 categories, which are the movement, case, bracelet, bezel, and clasp in one category, the dial and the loom, comfort, prestige, and the price. So there's 7 categories. It's a good odd number, so we're going to come out with one winner. I'm not going to really assign a numerical value in each category, just who put down which watch scores the best in each category, in my opinion. So before we really look at the comparisons, we're going to look at the specs of each watch. So when you look at the Seiko SKX, you got a watch that has a 42 millimeter case, and it's 45 millimeters lug to lug, and it is 13 millimeters thick. And as far as the lug width, it is 22 millimeters at the top, and it tapers down to about 18 millimeters at the clasp. And this watch here is 200 meters water resistant, and it is ISO certified. So this is an actual certified diver. Here's a look at the case back. I always like looking at the case back. So that's the specs for the Seiko SKX. As far as the specs for the Invicta Pro Diver, here, take a look at the Invicta Pro Diver. You have a 40 millimeter case. You have a lug to lug of 47.5 millimeters and a thickness of 13.5 millimeters. The lug width is 20 millimeters at the top, and it tapers to about 18 millimeters at the clasp. And here's a look at the case back. I like the yellow rotor for Invicta. This case back is pretty cool. All right, so and this watch is also 200 meters water resistant. It is not an ISO certified diver. So there were the specs there, okay? So these watches will fit the wrist of a lot of people, pretty universal sizes. So let's look at the movement. So the Seiko SKX has what you call the 7S26 movement. It is a 21 joule movement, which is bidirectional. And it is a 3 hertz movement with a 40-hour power reserve. Now, one disadvantage to this one is it is a non-hacking, non-hand winding movement. So with a Seiko, you have to pick it up and kind of give it what they call it the Seiko shuffle. You got to really shake it for about 30 seconds or so to really get it to move, and then you can kind of set it. But yeah, so that's it. And the Seikos, this 7S26 was used a lot of times in Seiko 5s and the Seiko SKXs. Since the SKX has been discontinued, I'm pretty sure they might be using it in a Seiko 5X that they have now. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, the 7S26 was in a Seiko SKX, okay? Now let's take a look at the Invicta Pro Diver. So it uses the NH35 movement. So NH35 is made by a company called TMI, which is a third-party division of Seiko. So both of these watches have Seiko movements. And the NH35 is basically an unbranded 4R35. The 4R35 is an upgraded version of the 7S26. Now, it is also a 3 hertz movement, 41-hour power reserve, but it has 24 joules, it's bidirectional, and it is hacking and hand winding. So you can see some information on this when you look at the case back on the rotor. See 24 joules, you see NH35, which is the 4R35, and it is bidirectional, okay? And so the obvious advantages here is that The Invicta Pro Diver has a hacking and hand winding movement, which is a tremendous advantage. So for this first category, I'm going to give a check mark to the Invicta Pro Diver. Okay, it definitely wins that category there. But they both Seiko movements, but the Pro Diver has an upgraded movement. In terms of case design, when looking at the Seiko SKX, it has an iconic design. A lot of people recognize you got this crown at the 4 o'clock, and it is a very compact design with a lug-to-lug of only 45 millimeters, and it is 13 millimeters thickness. But you can't really mistake this for anything else, okay? It is a 100% original design, and this is an ISO certified diver, so this case really has good build quality because it is a certified diver, which is a huge advantage for the case design segment of this here comparison. Now, when you look at the Invicta Pro Diver, it's really hard to criticize the case design because it's based on the Rolex Submariner. So it's pretty much a copy of the Rolex Submariner, okay? Which is a great design, but this is not original. This is just a copy. But it still has a solid design that works and that is great. A lot of Submariners have been purchased from Rolex, and a lot of Pro Divers have been purchased from Invicta. But in this comparison, I'll give the advantage to Seiko SKX just because there's an original design, and then the build quality is so good that it is a certified diver. So this definitely gets the advantage there. When you talk about the dial, I'm looking at the loom and the legibility. The dial, I love the dial of the Seiko SKX. It is this navy blue dial. You got these white circular hour markers. Now, you do not have applied indices or an applied logo here, but still a good looking dial. And as far as the loom, now we're not in a dark room or anything. I'm just going to take this flashlight, shine it on here for a minute. And you can see how it lights up, and we haven't even turned the lights off. Just a little bit of light, and you can see the green already with this loom. So the loom on here is pretty good. You know, I go outside for a few seconds, and the loom lights up, and it can actually stay lit for a long time. This is a certified diver, so you can see this watch. You can read it underwater, even if you're diving. Okay, but it's a pretty good looking dial. The dial with the this Invicta Pro Diver is also good. Like I said, it is a copy of the Submariner. Now, there is a lot more text at the 6 o'clock versus the Seiko SKX. And you do have an applied logo and some applied indices on this one. As far as the loom, I don't think it is nearly as good. We'll put the flashlight on here for a few seconds. And you don't see it show up. Now, we're not in a very dark room, but it just doesn't show up nearly as well as the Seiko SKX. And this is not the most ideal conditions for a loom test, but that's just basically the truth. But as far as the dial, I would give that to the Seiko SKX. Now, skip the category. We'll go back to this here, which is the bracelet and the bezel and the clasp. So when I look at the bracelet, the bezel, and the clasp, so when I look at the bracelet of the Invicta Pro Diver, it is this oyster bracelet. Like I said, it tapers from a 20 at the top to an 18. It has pins in it, so not screws, but pins. And you look at the clasp, it is this pressed clasp. Nothing to write home about, but it's pretty solid. You know, it's a pretty solid design, pretty decent. And you see it does have some, you know, some micro adjust, like 4 micro adjusts. But I think it's a solid. And the bezel, it's kind of hard to kind of get this bezel going with these gloves. But as far as the bezel as it does turn very well. Just I'm not going to even try it with these gloves on. I probably won't be able to do it. But it does. You can kind of hear the clicks. Yeah, so we got it going here. But it is a 120 click bezel, and it's pretty solid. Okay. when you look at the bracelets, the bezel and the clasp for the Seiko SKX, you got this Jubilee bracelet. It is very flimsy. Some people like it, some people don't like it. That's part of what makes this watch iconic. It just feels like you can break this thing at any time. As far as the clasp, it is a pressed clasp. Take a look at it here. Not too bad, not too good. Just close it up here. You do have 5 micro adjust here. And yeah, so you also have pins, no screws in this one. But as far as the bracelet design and the bezel, I tried to turn the bezel earlier. Just try it again. It's a little bit more difficult and you don't hear it click as much. I would actually give the advantage as far as the bracelet, bezel, and clasp to the Invicta Pro Diver. Okay. This was just my humble opinion on that. Now, as far as comfort, I think both watches are very comfortable. Like I said, this watch here, the Seiko SKX, has this very flimsy bracelet, the Jubilee bracelet. And a lot of times Jubilee bracelets are very comfortable. This Invicta Pro Diver has this oyster bracelet, also very comfortable. But I would actually go with the Invicta Pro Diver for its comfort. When I put it on, I actually sometimes forget that it's on. But sometimes the Seiko SKX is just kind of flops around on your wrist. The Invicta Pro Diver like sits comfortably on your wrist, and it's just almost a part of your arm. So I'm gonna give the comfort factor to the Invicta Pro Diver. Now, when you talk about the prestige, whether you want to talk about the brand or just the watch, we're just talking about the watches themselves. The Invicta Pro Diver is a very controversial watch. It is very polarizing because it is so much, it's so close to the original design of the Submariner. There's nothing original about this design, okay? Versus the Seiko SKX, it's not the highest quality. I mean, the bracelet isn't. The movement doesn't hack or hand wind, but it has a cult following. Even though it's been discontinued, it's now like a $450 watch, you know. And I don't know if it's going to continue to go up, but people still love the Seiko SKX 009K2. So I'm going to give prestige definitely to the Seiko SKX over the Invicta Pro Diver. But here's a kind of close up, and they both good looking watches. But this Pepsi bezel, I'm definitely give the prestige factor though to Seiko. And the last thing is the price. Now, I picked up this Invicta Pro Diver about a couple of years ago for $39.99, so $40 US for a watch that is 200 meters water resistant, NH35 movement, oyster bracelet, pretty solid for less than $40. And you can find these a lot of times for less than $100. This Seiko SKX, I bought this in May of 2019 for $230. It was discontinued in November of 2019, and now these are going for like $400 to $450 a lot of times. And with the Invicta Pro Diver, like I said, you get a lot for your money, and it's really not a lot of money, and the watch could last for years. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Invicta Pro Diver in terms of price. And even though this was close, I'm just going to give the advantage overall to the Invicta Pro Diver. I think the Invicta Pro Diver is very underrated. Basically, you're getting a watch that looks like a Rolex, but has the Seiko movement on the inside. So you got a reliable 3 hertz, 24 jewel hacking and hand winding movement from Seiko. So you got, so basically you get, you know, like the best of both worlds in terms of design and movement at a very affordable price. And the Seiko SKX is a good watch, but it doesn't hack, it doesn't hand wind. And even though it's an in-house movement, the movement is just an older movement. And the bracelet is not as solid, but this watch has a lot of charm, and it is a historic watch, the Seiko SKX. So there you have it. That's my opinion. 4-3 Invicta Pro Diver over the Seiko SKX. Let me know what you think. Which one is better on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the minimum and 10 being the maximum, what would you give these watches on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm gonna let you tell me in the comment section, and you know, like I say, it's up to you. I would withhold my opinion on that, but I would definitely say that I would give the Pro Diver the advantage. So thanks for tuning in to this video and watching this video. Please continue to comment, like, and subscribe. And I look forward to bringing you a video soon, okay? All right, so thanks and enjoy your day.